Have you ever had that feeling? That quiet, unshakable sense that something is about to shift? You can't explain it, but it lingers in the back of your mind, like a distant echo calling your name. Maybe you've been noticing strange coincidences lately, numbers repeating, dreams that feel too vivid to ignore, a pull in your spirit towards something unknown. Or maybe life has felt heavier than usual, as if everything is testing you at once. If any of this resonates, then stay with me. Because you didn't find this video by accident. And what I'm about to share with you may be the confirmation you've been waiting for. March 13th is not just another date on the calendar. It's a moment in time, a spiritual gateway that holds the power to shift everything. But only for those who are ready to recognize it. And by the time we reach the end of this video, you will understand why. Welcome to Grace Bible Stories. If you're here, it means you're searching for something deeper. So before we go any further, take a second to subscribe, because every video we share has the potential to reach someone who needs it. Maybe that someone is you, or maybe it's someone you love. Now, let's begin. Let me tell you a story about a man named Michael. And as you listen, ask yourself, how much of his story feels like yours? Section 1. Michael's journey, feeling lost and recognizing the signs. It all started with a single bad day. Michael had always been the kind of person who played by the rules. He worked hard, made responsible choices, and believed that if he did everything right, life would reward him. And for a long time, it seemed like it did. A stable job, a long-term relationship, a future that felt secure. Until, suddenly, it wasn't. One morning, he walked into work expecting nothing out of the ordinary, only to leave a few hours later with a severance package and a hollow pit in his stomach. Downsizing, they said. Nothing personal. Just business. Before he even had time to process it, the next blow came. His relationship, one he had poured years into, crumbled before his eyes. "I just don't think we're growing in the same direction anymore," she told him, her voice soft but distant. A week later, she was gone. And just like that, everything Michael had counted on disappeared. For days, he moved through life in a daze. The job, the relationship, the carefully constructed future, gone. And in its place, silence. A suffocating stillness that filled every empty space in his apartment, his mind, his soul. Why is everything falling apart all at once? Is this the end? That question haunted him in the quiet moments, the ones where the weight of uncertainty pressed against his chest, making it hard to breathe. But then, something strange started happening. It was subtle at first. A series of small, almost unnoticeable coincidences. A song playing in a store that seemed to speak directly to him. A stranger's words echoing a thought he'd been too afraid to say out loud. A sudden pull to check the clock, only to see the numbers 11:11, 2:22, 3:33 staring back at him. Then came the dreams. At first, they were fragmented, a swirl of images and emotions he couldn't quite grasp. But one thing remained constant, the number March 13th. It appeared again and again, woven into the background of his subconscious like a whisper he was meant to hear. At first, he brushed it off as stress. A trick of the mind. But the more he ignored it, the more insistent it became. The numbers followed him. License plates, receipts, phone screens. A quiet nudge from something unseen, something unexplainable. And deep down, he felt it. A knowing. Like the heavy stillness in the air before a storm. Like standing at the edge of a door that had been waiting to be opened. He didn't understand it yet, but he knew one thing for certain, something was coming. Something bigger than him. and he wasn't sure whether to run from it or towards it. Have you ever felt this way? That deep, unshakable feeling that changes on the horizon, even if you don't know what it is yet? Because if you have, you might not be imagining it. And you're not alone. Section 2, The Mystery of March 13th. Why is it so important? March 13th. It kept showing up, whispering through Michael's dreams, slipping into the background of his everyday life. A date that should have meant nothing, yet it felt like everything. But why? He wasn't the only one who had ever experienced this. Throughout history, there have been moments, specific days, where everything shifted. Not just for individuals, but for entire civilizations. One such moment? March 13th, 1781. The night Sir William Herschel pointed his telescope toward the sky and discovered Uranus, the first planet to be identified with modern technology. That discovery shattered centuries of belief, expanding humanity's understanding of the universe itself. A single night, and nothing was ever the same again. March 13th has always been a day of revelation. In the Bible, the number 13 appears repeatedly in moments of transition and divine intervention. In the book of Esther, the 13th day of the 12th month was meant to be a day of destruction, but instead, it became the day of deliverance. A complete reversal of fate. A hidden power waiting to be unlocked. What if March 13th wasn't just a date? What if it was a doorway? A moment where unseen forces realign. Where the world around us shifts, even if we don't understand how. And those who are paying attention, the ones who recognize the signs, are given a chance to step into something new. Michael couldn't shake the feeling that this day meant something for him. But he wasn't sure what to do about it. And that's when he realized, maybe he wasn't meant to figure it out alone. Section 3. Before breakthrough comes the test. Michael thought he had finally found clarity. The signs had been too strong to ignore. March 13th wasn't just another day. Something big was coming. He could feel it. Like the universe had been nudging him toward a moment that would change everything. But then, everything fell apart. Instead of feeling lighter, he felt heavier. The air around him, once filled with mystery and excitement, now felt thick, suffocating, like the eerie stillness right before a storm unleashes its fury. His thoughts became tangled, doubts creeping in like shadows slipping under a locked door. His friends didn't understand. Some laughed it off, saying he was just imagining things. Others slowly distanced themselves, leaving behind empty spaces where connection used to be. Isolation set in. He tried to push forward, but it felt like walking through quicksand. The harder he tried, the deeper he sank. Every effort was met with resistance. His motivation faded. His energy drained. It was as if every open door had suddenly slammed shut, as if something was testing him. This wasn't a coincidence. He had heard about this before the breakthrough, there's always darkness. The moment before dawn is always the coldest, the blackest, the hardest to endure. Most people mistake this as a sign to turn back. They see the struggle and think it means they've been wrong all along. They let the weight of doubt crush them before they ever get to see what's on the other side. But what if the struggle is the proof? What if the resistance isn't there to stop you, but to prepare you? Michael didn't know it yet, but he was closer than he had ever been. The light was just beyond the horizon. His breakthrough was just past the storm. The only question was, would he keep going? Section 4, Recognizing the Signs Leading to March 13th. Michael had always believed in logic. If something couldn't be explained, it was just a coincidence. That's what he told himself, until the signs became impossible to ignore. At first, they were small, almost subtle. A glance at the clock at exactly 11:11. A receipt total of $7.77. A license plate repeating the same numbers just minutes later. Strange? Sure. But random, right? Then the dream started. Vivid, repeating. Pulling him towards something. A date kept surfacing, March 13th. Sometimes it appeared on a calendar. Other times, a stranger in his dream would whisper it, their voice lingering even after he woke up. At first, he brushed it off. But then, life started shifting. People in his life suddenly left, unexpectedly, without warning. Some friendships faded. Some relationships ended in abrupt goodbyes. It was as if life was rearranging itself, removing the old to make space for something new. And it wasn't just people. The energy around him felt different. Conversations felt heavier, as if words carried a weight they hadn't before. Places that once felt comfortable now felt distant. And places he had never noticed before suddenly felt familiar. His intuition, the quiet voice he had ignored for years, was no longer whispering. It was shouting. But shouting about what? One night, as he sat in his apartment, staring at the city lights flickering in the distance, the realization hit him. This wasn't random. These were signs. And they were leading him towards something. Why? Because these signs have appeared for countless people before him. Repeating numbers. Strange dreams. The sudden exit of people who no longer align with where you're headed. This isn't a coincidence. It's preparation. Have you felt it too? That pull. That unshakable feeling that something is shifting, even if you can't quite explain it. The sense that your life is aligning for something bigger, but you're unsure of what to do next. You're not imagining it. Because the universe has a way of speaking to us, through patterns, through repetition, through the people who come and go. Through the sudden moments of clarity that feel too powerful to ignore. But the scariest thing isn't missing the signs. It's seeing them and doing nothing. Michael finally understood. If he didn't act now, he might miss the biggest opportunity of his life. And for the first time, he stopped questioning. And he started trusting. Section 5. 5 Steps to Unlock the Power of March 13th. Michael had spent weeks sensing that something big was coming. The signs had been there. March 13th wasn't just another date. It was a doorway. A shift. A chance to step into something new. But here's the truth. Not everyone will be ready for it. Some will let fear hold them back. Some will ignore the signs. Some will convince themselves it's all just in their head. But you don't have to be one of them. If you felt the shift, if you've been seeing the signs, then this is your moment. Because when March 13th arrives, the only question that will matter is, did I do what I needed to do to be ready? So what do you need to do? Step 1. Eliminate the noise. Create mental clarity. The world around you is loud. Social media. News. Endless notifications. Everyone has an opinion about who you should be and what you should do. But here's the thing, if you're constantly absorbing external noise, how can you hear your own voice? Start clearing the space in your mind. Turn off notifications for a day. Step away from people who drain your energy. Set boundaries with negative influences. Give yourself permission to disconnect. Because clarity doesn't come from more information. It comes from making space for your own truth to emerge. Step 2. Strengthen your intuition. Learn to trust yourself. Most people wait for a massive, undeniable sign from the universe before they act. But the truth? The universe speaks in whispers, not shouts. That gut feeling, that nudge, that thought that keeps coming back over and over again, that's your intuition speaking. But here's the challenge: your intuition and your fear can feel very similar. So how do you tell the difference? Fear feels heavy. Intuition feels expansive. Fear screams. Intuition nudges. Fear is based on past pain. Intuition is based on future possibilities. Start small. Each day, take 5 minutes in stillness and ask, what am I being guided toward? Write down whatever comes up, even if it doesn't make sense yet. Because the more you listen, the clearer the message becomes. Step 3. Take action, even when you're not ready. Most people never make a change because they're waiting to feel ready. But here's the truth: you will never feel 100% ready. And if you're waiting for absolute certainty, you'll wait forever. Think about the thing that's been on your heart lately. The thing you've been wanting to do, but keep putting off. Maybe it's applying for that job, having that difficult conversation, moving to a new city, starting a project you can't stop thinking about. Fear tells you to wait. Doubt tells you it's not the right time. But what if the only thing the universe is waiting for is proof that you're willing to take the first step? Do something today, even something small, that aligns with where you want to go. Because action creates momentum. And once you start moving, the path ahead becomes clearer. Step 4. Let go of what's holding you back. Not everything in your life is meant to go with you into this next chapter. And deep down, you already know what needs to go. Toxic relationships. Old habits that drain you. The version of yourself that's afraid to step into something bigger. I won't lie, letting go is hard. The familiar feels safe, even when it's the very thing keeping you stuck. But you can't step into something new while still clinging to the past. Ask yourself, what am I still holding onto that is no longer serving me? And when the answer comes, trust it. Because sometimes, the thing you're most afraid of letting go is the thing standing between you and your breakthrough. Step 5. Surround yourself with the right people. You are not meant to do this alone. The people around you either pull you forward or hold you back. And if you've been feeling distant from certain relationships lately, that's not an accident. Some people were part of your past, but not your future. Seek out those who challenge you to grow. People who inspire you. People who make you feel lighter, not heavier. Because when you surround yourself with people who believe in something bigger, you start believing in it too. And belief is the foundation of transformation. Michael had no idea how much his life was about to change. But that's the thing about breakthroughs, you don't always see them coming. You don't always realize how close you are. One moment, it feels like nothing is happening. The next, everything shifts. And when that moment arrives, the only thing that will matter is whether or not you are ready. So ask yourself, are you ready? March 13th is coming. And the choice is yours. March 13th, the day that could change everything. Will you step into it? March 13th arrived. That morning, Michael woke up with a feeling he couldn't quite describe, like standing at the edge of something immense, knowing that just one step could change everything. He had seen the signs, followed the steps, and now, the moment was here. And then, the unexpected happened. His phone rang. On the other end, a voice delivered news he never saw coming, an opportunity, a breakthrough, a door opening where he had once seen only walls. At that moment, Michael realized this day truly had the power to shift everything. Not just for him, but for anyone willing to recognize the signs. For anyone brave enough to trust the process. For anyone willing to take that step, even when they couldn't see the full path ahead. But if you look deeper, maybe these signs aren't random. Maybe this is how God is guiding you. The Bible says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" Isaiah 43 verse 19. Perhaps these signs are a reminder that God is opening a new path for you. The question is, will you ignore it, or will you prepare for it? We've talked about the steps. Clearing the noise. Strengthening your intuition. Taking action. Letting go of what's holding you back. Surround yourself with the right people. But knowing these things isn't enough. Because faith isn't just waiting, it's moving forward, even when you can't see the whole picture. So, what will you do? Will you wake up on March 13th and go about your day as if it's just another ordinary day? Or will you step into it with the awareness that this could be the day God wants to change your life? The choice is yours. If this message resonated with you, share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Because sometimes, all it takes is one message at the right time to change a life. And before you go, let's set our intention together. Drop a 777 in the comments below if you're ready to step into the new chapter God is opening for you. Thank you for being here. If you haven't yet, subscribe to Grace Bible Stories to continue this journey with us. March 13th is coming. Are you ready?